Mr. Jake Galleon.
Hello.
How are you, my friend?
I'm good.
Welcome to the
Thank you.
podcast.
Thank you.
I have to say, I'm a little disappointed in you. Off the bat.
I'm used to hearing that. Like, not just from you, from like other people.
I'm going to miss you.
Yeah, thanks.
You're leaving me.
Yeah, I wish I could say the same.
Yeah. It was good to know you. Good to get to know you. You've been
Thanks,
working at
man.
Royal for, I don't know, a few months now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been a pleasure.
Thanks, man.
Definitely, you bring a different approach to tattooing that I'm not familiar with, and so it's cool with the limited amount of time that we were working. You get to see different approaches, and
Yeah.
it's wild.
Thanks, man. The same to you.
It's funny, when you first arrived, I thought you were from like a different planet in a way.
Bringing these new technologies.
New technologies. I was like, where's the coils in this machine? But it's cool. It's cool that you're, doing that stuff, and yeah, it's wild.
Thanks, man.
So what would you consider your style, I guess?
Wow.
To me, it looks like you're doing a bunch of different things and
Yeah.
mashing it together.
Yeah. I try to stay open in terms of what I like to do tattooing wise. Style, my favorite is to definitely mix neo-traditional with black and gray, some kind of realism, stuff like that. That's what really excites me.
Yeah.
I think mixing up neo-traditional with black and gray, lately I've been really enjoying doing miniatures, trying to do stuff with just like a free liner and have fun with the stipple shading and stuff.
The stipple stuff is cool.
Thanks.
It's I don't know. It's something that it's been around for a while, but it's come back on like steroids in a way. Like it's
true.
people are doing some really cool stuff with the stippling.
Yeah, definitely.
You never saw before.
Yeah. There's a good few tattoos that I'm looking at are doing that on a daily. Like that's all they're tattooing with is the 3-round liner. The whole, doing full sleeves with one needle. And when I first started seeing those stuff, I saw it a lot with miniatures at first with the 3 liner. A friend of mine called Vic, he's really good at, and his stuff blew my mind, especially miniature portraits. And then there is a guy out in LA that I've seen doing full sleeves with a 3 liner, and
incredible.
Yeah.
Is it like Chicano stuff or just black and gray?
Yeah, his Instagram's Mr. Roshin.
Okay.
You can go and check that out. Yeah, I guess it is Chicano. It is Chicano in the sense from what I know of it, but yeah, black and grey.
Yeah.
When you look at it from a distance, it's really beautiful. Everything's looks really nicely laid out, and then it's when you zoom in and you see the texture of the 3 liner.
Yeah, that's the cool part. We were looking at photos together, I remember, with Lobinho, and you see the picture, just the first shot of it, and then once you zoom in, it has so much texture.
Yeah.
It's almost like a pointillist type of charcoal drawing in a way.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that texture is amazing. It's really beautiful to see it healed as well.
Yeah, totally.
Like I said, it's only been the last couple of months that I've really started going into doing that particular little elements within my work with the 3 liner. And just it's nice seeing it come back a couple of weeks later and just seeing how it's settling in.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
That's
really
awesome.
Cool. Yeah.
And where are you from originon?
London.
London originally.
London, yeah.
You weren't from Scotland, or you worked there?
Yeah, I was working in London. Edit. I was working in Edinburgh for 5 years. Something like that.
More or less.
But I started in London. Started tattooing in London in 2010.
Wow.
2010. Yeah.
That's awesome. We were just in London for the convention. It would have been cool if you could have come and seen it, but I'm sure you've been to the London convention before.
Definitely. Yeah.
It was wild.
Yeah.
Almost too overwhelming.
Yeah. It's a great inspiration to go there
totally.
for the weekend. It's mind blowing seeing all the different styles.
Totally, yeah. Yeah, I met so many people, and I'm still kind of taking it in of all the conversations I had and people I bumped into, and it was good to see old friends and make some new friends.
Yeah.
Mike and Henning were there, and they were unapproachable. They were so busy, and I was just like, "Hey guys," and they were just like, "Hey, how you doing?" And I was like, "I'm gonna leave, you guys."
Head
Look,
down the whole weekend.
yeah, just tattooing the whole time.
Making us young guys look bad. Making us look lazy.
Well, it was cool.
I'm going to a convention. I'm doing one tattoo. I'm not doing anything else.
Just go and shake hands.
My booth's empty the whole weekend. Where's he at? I don't know.
I'm waiting for my next appointment. Sorry, I
Yes.
can't.
Oh, you want to get tattooed now? I don't know. I don't know.
Just so booked right now.
Yes.
Just looking at the book, how empty it is.
I've already made my booth money back, so I think I'm just gonna dick about.
Tell me what it was like in London starting out.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It was good. Wasn't too long ago. Obviously, 2010's not that far back.
Yeah. Was the influences that you had when you started? Was it the same stuff that you're kind of working in now, or is it like a different style, different kind of mindset?
No, definitely. I was more into traditional when
Mhm.
I first started tattooing.
Yeah.
Like I think maybe quite a few artists are,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what I kind of started out after my apprenticeship, was tattooing mainly traditional.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess one of the themes that we always kind of touch upon is like just traveling in general, because
Yep.
it seems like most tattooers are nomadic to some degree or another. Either they're shopless and they're
Mhm.
traveling all over the place doing guest spots, or they might be having a home base but still doing little tours
Yep.
or conventions. But you spend a lot of time in the States, and you
Mhm.
have family in the States. Do you
Yeah. My dad lives in Virginia,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, I go there like once a year,
Mm-hmm.
roughly. I finished a year tour when I came to Royal. It is true. Like it's a beautiful thing within tattooing that we can take this craft on the road and go and visit friends, make new friends, see sights, and still get to tattoo, make some money in that city, and get shown around, and it's great. But yeah, I did a year on the road. Started in Europe, drove down from Scotland through UK, through France, Spain, and then back up. Came to Royal actually to do their first guest spot last July. And that was right at the start, and got to finally meet Henning, all the guys at the shop, and then I went up to Norway. And yeah, then I left the van in Lithuania, where my wife's from, and we flew out to the States and bought a van there, and then did a east to west coast trip, and west coast back to east coast earlier this year. It's great.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, I have a 2-year-old daughter, as you know, and yeah, it's great to be able to just hit the road with family and go and see friends, sights, and yeah, I love it. I owe everything to tattooing for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it like traveling with a little kid
Ah.
on the road like that? A lot of pee stops.
Yeah. Now you put Peppa Pig on or some shit, and she's quiet.
Peppa Pig.
Yeah. No, it was good. I think traveling with a toddler was harder on my lady than it was for me.
Yeah.
And
You're just like,
go,
hey, take this, crying.
Initially I was like, yeah, we'll hit the road. I won't work too much. We'll have some quality family time.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like maybe 10 days into the trip, and I added a bunch more guest spots to our road trip. Like, put them back to back, and yeah, definitely. You go to the shop and you can chat shit, tattoo, and have fun the whole day. And yeah, kids are fucking intense. I love her. I love her more than anything. But yeah,
It's hard.
for sure.
It's
for
hard.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. Like people always ask, like, "Oh, what's your wife doing?" And I'm like, "Damn, she's doing the hardest job. She's looking after my daughter." Like, but yeah, it's good.
That's good. So, did you go to any of the national parks at all in the States?
Yeah, bunch.
Yeah, we went to Yellowstone
Right, I
last
missed that.
year. Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, I was there too early in the year, so it's like still closed for winter.
Okay, yeah.
I was really bummed out about it.
Yeah, they something around like May is when they start to open it.
Yeah.
And even in May, there's still snow on the ground.
Yeah, I was driving past 2 weeks before it was open.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was pretty bad snow. We went up through like Wyoming and then South Dakota, North Dakota, and then went up into Chicago.
Yeah. You see the Badlands?
Yeah.
Incredible.
That's beautiful. Mind blowing.
I had a childhood friend. We all did like a cross country trip, and it was before I was tattooing, and so we stopped at the Badlands, and he just jumped into one of these holes and just started like climbing down, and climbed so far we couldn't see him. We were yelling his name. He couldn't hear us. We couldn't hear him.
It's crazy.
And we were just like panicking, like, oh shit, I think we lost him. And then and like 20 minutes later he comes up like, oh, what's going on, guys? I'm like, you're alive.
What the fuck?
Yeah, but it's one of those crazy caverns that maybe it just softened all the sound waves, that no sound came in and out. But I don't know, I couldn't do it. I would be so claustrophobic, like climbing down into the earth that way. And it's brittle earth. It's not anything that you feel like could stabilize you.
No.
And the worst fear I had was it just kind of like falling in on him. But he just came up, like, why were you even worried? No clue at all. John, you know that's you.
Yeah, you reminded me. We went to Joshua Tree before we left the van in Los Angeles and flew back to Europe for 2 months over Christmas. But yeah, we went to Joshua Tree, and have you ever been there?
No, never.
It's like crazy boulders on top of each other, with like insane trees.
Is it from like the water erosion?
I don't know. I didn't.
Yeah, look cool.
I'm sure I read a leaflet, but yeah, that's long gone out of my head. No, I was just climbing around the boulders. But yeah, we parked up at a car park. I think Isla was having one of her naps, so V stayed with her in the van, and me being a big kid, I just went for it, just straight on the side of the car park. There's like boulders on top of boulders. I'm like jumping up, climbing up them. Not too hard to scale or anything. And there's like one little bit, like a little cavern. Well, I say cavern, it makes it sound huge. It wasn't that big. It's maybe like 20-foot drop.
That's big enough.
Right. So I jumped across it because I could see it. I could get my foot, and then, blah, 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 get up there. Got around, and I was like, all right, I can't go no higher. And we turn around, go back the way I came, and that way I jumped. I didn't realize, but the side I jumped from had no other foothold. So I'm like, oh shit. I'm like sat on the edge of there, and I'm just like, fuck. No one could see me. I went back up to the other bit to see if I could see anyone in the car park. No one could see me.
Oh my god.
And then I was trying to figure out another way. Anyway, I calmed my nerves down, and then just took a little like 2 or 3 foot like run up kind of thing. And I managed to get grip on the other side.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. What's that movie? 127 hours or something?
Oh yeah.
The guy gets fucking stuck. All that shit I was like, I don't want to fucking saw through my arm.
But it's funny, like I've done little hikes like that before with some friends, and it's just even in like New Hampshire, like close to where I grew up. You think it's not that treacherous, but then you just like start climbing down one little path, and then you just walk a little too far, and then you can't go back. The only way out is to keep going. And I got to this point where we were all on the edge, and luckily we had a rope, and we just got to this point where we climbed down, but we couldn't climb back up because we was like slid down to a part and then like let go. So we had to fall down to this little ledge, not knowing that we couldn't get out the other side. And so it was the same kind of thing where there was like a little opening, and we were like, I wonder how far down it is. And we threw some rocks down, and we were listening, and we were like, and once I heard like how long it took, I froze. I couldn't move. And I would just like was suctioned to the side of the wall. And my friends had to like coax me out, like, all right, we're going to tie a rope around you. We're probably not going to drop you. But it was like that like thing where it's like a leap of faith, and you're just like, fuck, I'm probably gonna die.
It's exciting times.
Yeah, I don't ever want to do it again.
No, your one sounds way more scary than mine. I think I was just overthinking my.
Yeah. But that's crazy. It like the thing that comes to my mind is those like Russian climbing, like crane.
Man, even thinking about those videos makes my palms sweat.
Yeah, it's so crazy, and like I don't hear anybody dying from those things, or do they?
Actually, I read a little news thing about yesterday. It's like since 2015 or something, like 259 people had died doing that shit.
That's a good amount.
Trying to get like selfies and stupid places.
My goodness.
Yeah. Nuts.
I just want to. I don't want to sound inconsiderate, but like, it comes with the territory, I guess. Like climbing that high up, no ropes.
Yeah,
trying to take a selfie.
I don't know. There was that one story where the guy was like doing this stuff for family, like to pay for his family or something like that, like out in Asia, and he fell from the building. Oh. Even then, don't go climbing buildings.
No, yeah, it's obviously not safe. So tell me about Scotland. You know I'm from Scotland, right?
Really? You're one of them?
I'm one of them.
Americans come to Scotland getting a thistle tattoo or something. I want my clan badge. And finding out later your bloodline's Polish or something. Fuck, man, I just bought a kilt.
I'd rather have a kilt than a thistle, because then I can get rid of the kilt.
Right.
We did the genealogy, and like my dad got the test, like the DNA swab.
Right.
And we were kind of like, I really hope, you know.
I hope I'm Scottish.
Yeah. But I'm like a big mix. There's like nothing pure about me at all.
Right.
I think there's a lot from the Pacific Islands, 14% African, and there's like the lowest percent is like Irish and Scottish and English, which is weird. It's like it comes from like the south all the way up to the the northern Europe.
Yeah, you don't look very Polynesian.
No, I know, but it was wild how spread out it was.
Yeah.
But it's super cool finding that stuff out.
It's the same like anyone in the UK. It's like pure that nation. I just don't get that stuff anyway, because everyone's always been mixed or been raided or some shit.
Yeah, no one's 100% pure.
No.
I think there was like a statistic where 64 generations back were all related. So it doesn't matter where you're from.
We're all from Africa, right?
Yeah.
Depending on what you want to believe in.
Yeah. Let's talk more about tattooing.
Yeah? Let's bring it back.
Bring it back. Get rid of this nonsense.
Enough traveling.
Let's talk
What's
about
your jeans? I think they're Levi's, actually.
So you like tattooing, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's alright.
It's alright.
It pays the bills, right?
So what's your legacy you're gonna leave behind with tattooing? More, you like the direction you're going with the kind of the black and gray?
Yeah, I would really like to just continue the black and gray, mixing the styles. To be honest, my wife, she's always like laughing at. I start to knuckle down on one style and start to get my own way within it, and then decide to ditch it and think, fuck it, I want to go and do this now. But I just think, over the next couple of years, I really want to keep blending styles. So mainly in terms of that is doing the neo-traditional with say animal portrait, realistic, and then have framing of like nice like solid leaves or other kind of foliage or something on these grounds, like a big rose, and then an animal portrait set behind it. I really like the way the depth looks on these when you and I never really want to get too far away from being able to do solid lines, big bold shit. I love it.
Yeah, I like the tattoo you did on Bruno, his dog.
Thanks, man.
That was really cool.
Yeah, that was a fun one. That was the first like mini portrait, but then I got to put a little neo-traditional in it, kind of with the background. It was really fun. Yeah, I see stuff like that. I love to do more of.
Yeah,
try and bring it down smaller. It's really fun.
All right, we're back. So I was wondering your take on portrait style, because you do a lot of it. Like, what drew you to it after like being brought up with the traditional stuff?
It's just seeing those like photographs in tattoo magazines and stuff like that, and being mind blown. I remember first seeing portraits and thinking, I'll never be able to do that. Like, not saying that I can do it now either, not trying to be big headed, but yeah, even just trying to attempt it took me a while. I went from traditional into doing black and grey, working in a street shop and stuff, and doing a bit of everything. I guess that's what's kind of giving me somewhat versatility. I have to do what comes through the door.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely seeing like the portraits in magazines. And a friend of mine, Tony Olivis from the States, was coming to London actually to do the London convention. Very old school, black and grey artist.
He's from Atlanta, right?
Yep. And I tagged along with him to help him out over the weekend at London. This would have been, I think that was in 2013. And in the London convention, you have different rooms for different styles. For the most part. And so I was in the black and grey room and just seeing all these guys like Jose Lopez and other guys from the Lowrider crew. And yeah, I was just kind of mesmerized by that style. And then it was actually after that weekend I had a lot of inspiration to start drawing and try and do more in it. And it wasn't long after that I actually moved up to Scotland and to Edinburgh, working at Studio 13. Again, it's a very busy shop and a lot of different stuff coming in through the door. And yeah, I just pushed it more towards black and grey, and then from there started to do a few portraits on good friends that, you know, allowed me to practice on them. Tatch, I love you, dude. I've got a lot of thanks to give to a lot of people for allowing me to even practice and try in the first place, and then also just to develop stuff when I've wanted to move in a different direction with my art.
Yeah, it's kind of horrifying in a way to like try to start that style of work. You know, same way with you, like brought up in street shop, and you have to like do whatever comes in. There's no saying no. And so you have to get really creative. And I remember the first couple portraits I did, like I can do them, but I'm glad you're at the shop to do them, because they scare the shit out of me.
Right.
I'd much rather paint a portrait or draw one than do one permanently on somebody. But the first couple ones, I just didn't know what the hell I was doing. Didn't know like any sort of technique, so I was like approaching it like a traditional tattoo in a way. Me too. I was just always looking, you know, when I was making the stencil, where I could stick some lines. Still try and do that now as well. I like that structure within a portrait. It still has some kind of strength to it, the shading off of lines. The portraits that I would do now, and that I feel most comfortable doing, would be like almost like movie poster style, where it's still a piece of artwork. It's not necessarily like a photograph, where the hard work is already done, or even like a really well professional picture where you have obvious light and dark. That's something much more, I don't know, feasible. Other than that, like animals, I love doing animals if I have to do it, but much prefer doing the traditional stuff. There's a lot you can learn by doing both, I think, like as far as like the black and gray side of things, bringing it into like black and gray shading for background in Japanese. There's a bunch of different things that you can apply to
sure.
both.
Like, you know, like all different styles kind of blend in. There's like techniques you can take from one style and put it into another. With like Japanese, if you're doing like the soft backgrounds and stuff like that, you can then apply that into doing a portrait tattoo. Yeah, definitely anything, when it comes to portraits, if it's high contrast, it's going to work really well.
Mm-hmm.
The real hard ones are family members and
Yeah.
baby portraits. Then I don't think I'll probably ever stop sweating when I have to do those.
Did you?
Those are crazy stressful. But
Did you ever see? I think it was Keith Underwood that would do the baby portraits, but it was always the same baby.
no,
It was just like the sweet and sour baby,
right?
and
No,
he had
no.
like a picture, like an actual photograph of the baby, and then next to it is this traditional thing. It always cracked me up. I always love those.
That's awesome. No, I haven't seen that.
But if you do a baby, they kind of all look the same. It's,
Yeah, they all got huge foreheads.
forehead.
The good old 23 mag forehead. Let's not make this thing look like a fucking potato. Yeah, you dip in the dark shade instead of the light shade, and boom, you got a fucking mole on the forehead. Yeah.
But I think what you were saying is important about having that contrast.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it's super washed out, then that person's just going to have a tattoo for a couple of years. But
Yeah.
the only way to make that thing last is have some black, have some good contrast.
Yeah. I done it this year actually from a photograph that was really old. I think it was the only photograph of the guy's grandmother, a nice dress or something like that for some kind of evening, some kind of event. I don't know. Anyway, it was really bad quality, and I had to zoom in on the face. He wanted just the portrait. I zoomed in and just did the whole on the iPad, like adding contrast and actually airbrushing over this photograph and doing some kind of image restoration to it, which I'd never done before until that one. And yeah, I was really happy with it though, like the result. And yeah, just adding those contrasts, and it was seeing the end result from that made me realize that if you apply like the high contrast even to someone's photograph of a loved one, that's not a very good quality photograph. You can kind of semi make up some of the lighting. If that lighting's still there, but it's grey, and just applying a little bit more contrast to it,
Right.
it's gonna make way better tattoo.
Right.
Yeah. The family member ones, the toughie.
Those get you.
Yeah.
There's a lot in the line.
Even talking about them, I'm nervous.
But when I first started tattooing, there wasn't a lot of the black and gray portrait stuff. There was just like Brian Everett, Jack Rudy, Tom Renshaw.
Yep.
Those are the three main guys that kind of pop into my head that were kind of really going for that black and gray style.
Yeah.
I really liked a lot of the Tom Renshaw stuff, mostly nature.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think the big thing that hit was like Dino Cook was doing the color portrait stuff.
Yep.
But again, it's like it wasn't a style that I was necessarily drawn to so much.
Focusing on.
Yeah, so I wasn't following it that much, so there very well could have been many more people doing that sort of stuff. But it just blows my mind today, like that it's so big.
Yeah. Every day is another amazing artist just like on the scene, just doing wild shit.
Yeah, I'll discover
mind blowing.
I'll discover them on like Instagram.
Yeah,
on like the
feels like every time you go on Instagram, you find someone new. It's like,
you got like 23 million followers. I was like, how? What the fuck? I never heard of this guy.
Yeah,
but that just shows how diverse tattooing is nowadays, where you have subcultures within subcultures, and I just can't even keep up.
Yeah. Nah, it's crazy, man.
But I like what you've been doing with the neo-traditional stuff, and also you dedicated a page to it.
Yeah. Neo-traditional Europe on Instagram. It's one of those crazy follow accounts now on that. Yeah, I just started that page for fun. Well, since Instagram's come around, I think there's always been some really good sharing pages. And not sure what like other pages' main motivation was, but mine was just to share photographs that I've seen of like from artists, like pieces from artists that I've admired, and then just wanted to post it and share it out as well. Try and get some kind of community within one style. And at that time, when I started that page, I was really focusing in on neo-traditional,
right,
and just looking at the same guys again and again, and trying to pick apart how they're doing certain bits, and it's been fun. I've actually had that page for nearly 2 years going on.
Yeah, it's doing really well.
Yeah. I got a lot of thanks for Patrick, who helps me out with that page. He does a lot of the sharing now.
Is he a tattooer as well?
No, he's a tattoo collector.
Okay.
Yeah. He's tattooed by a lot of
like a buddy of yours.
Yeah, I actually ain't never met him.
Oh no.
No.
That's hilarious.
The craziness of the internet, right? I was getting down to like sharing someone's work once a week, and it was already over 100K. So, it's like the messages on that page pile up, and Instagram's a powerful tool for tattooers. So I started to get worried about it. So I just put like a little advertisement on the page, and quite a few people got in touch actually. I don't know why Patrick stood out, but he's actually like a big help. Really nice guy, even though I ain't met him. But I have friends that have met him. He's a mysterious Irishman to me.
Not a serial killer.
No, I hope not. Nah, he's great, and he's a avid tattoo collector, and he has a lot of love for tattooing in general, and in particular neo-traditional. It's cool. It's great to have someone like that.
So I want to just bring it back to traveling again, because I just love all the places that you've been to. Do you have any like future plans, other places that you're going to go to, shops you're going to work at?
Actually, at the end of this month, I'm getting back on the road. Going to be based in Lithuania from the end of the month, but I'm going to be doing regular guest spots here at Royal. But on the 1st or 10th of November, I'm back in Scotland, Studio 13, and then I am going to Leuven in Belgium to work with my friend Karan. Old Rules Tattoo. Yeah, both those places are great places for me to be in. People
and it's places you've been before in the past.
Yeah. I was at Karan's shop earlier this year for the first time. I met him. I think it was Ink Mania or something like that. The convention was called last year in Belgium. I met him at the convention, and then he invited me to the shop, and it's cool.
Nice.
Top guy. Studio 13 in Edinburgh. That's where I was working at before I hit the road.
Right. You were there a number of years before?
Yeah, I think it was nearly 3 years.
Oh, wow.
Nearly 3 years, I think, working there.
So have you ever gotten into a knife fight on the road?
No. But
have you ever picked up any hookers that happen to be dudes?
Oh, shit. That nearly happened in Thailand. No, I've never been in a knife fight. First convention I ever worked at in Florida, there was a knife fight.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. The Tampa convention. God, that was like 5 years ago or something. Yeah, first ever convention. I get back to the motel. I'm like high as fuck. Smoked some fucking weed with everyone outside the convention. And then the motel where the after party was like maybe 2 miles down the street. So we all drove down there. And as we turn up to this motel, like car park party, there's all the ambulances and shit. And it turned out there'd been like we'd missed it, thankfully. But it was a real eye opener to me, like to what the fuck is going on.
It's crazy town down there.
Yeah. The fact that the whole motel is like a 2-floor little motel thing, and the party's in the car park with food trucks and mad music and a bunch of tattooers getting pretty fucking rowdy. It was, for a first convention, it was a good eye opener.
That was your first convention?
Yeah, first ever. I got tattooed by Bowery Stan and met Crazy Eddie that day. And then it was on the Saturday, and I did first ever tattoo at a convention. I was shitting myself, and just been tattooed from Stan, and I still love that tattoo now and the story. So I was just about to start tattooing, really sweating it, freaking out, and like, what if I make a mistake, or what if someone comes to look? Why, like just crazy. It must have been like 10 people when I started tattooing at the other side of my display table, staring at me.
What is he gonna do next?
Yeah. Fucking like, shit. Better be wonky line. Anyway, my friend Philip brought over a vodka orange from Stan as a, to calm my nerves kind of thing, like Dutch courage. And I was so nervous I didn't even want to take a sip for that or anything. But my friend Philip was like, "You got to drink it." So I took a mouthful, and he's like, "No, you got to drink the whole fucking thing." So I was like, Ah, shit. Okay, all right. It was easy, like a triple vodka and a little splash of orange juice, right? So I just chugged it, and then he's like, "Ha, there's fucking LSD and that shit," and just walked away.
No.
Straight poker face. Didn't know. Didn't say shit. I just went back to my customer and sat down and was just praying the whole time I was doing that wolf tattoo at
Sick wolf tattoo.
Yeah. Right. That shit didn't start fucking like jumping off his skin and dancing around the fucking room, and thankfully they were just fucking with me, you know. And yeah, it was a great day, great experience, that convention.
Great experience.
Yeah.
After
good story.
Being dosed without your knowing.
Right. Yeah, it's quite alarming, you know, tattooing, waiting an hour and like it's not kicking in yet.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of how much I ate to see if like maybe that food's got to digest before the fucking acid did. I don't know what the fuck was gonna happen.
Food's not gonna help you, son. You're going for a ride.
Right.
Yeah, it's fucking fun going to the crazy conventions like that.
Yeah.
But it reminds me of a similar story. I've already told it on the podcast, but those nerves, you're going crazy, and you just don't know what to think. It's like the worst feeling, but as soon as you get over it, you're like, oh, okay,
yeah.
That's the best thing in the world.
Yeah,
I got through it.
Yeah, I still find it now. The first day of the convention, nothing near as nervous as that, but you know, like just making sure everything's there. And as soon as you make the first line on the tattoo, it's like, oh fuck, this is nothing. It's just crowdy as fuck, a ton of people, right. But you know, there's no difference.
No,
except the chairs suck.
Your back's all fucked up.
Yeah. Doing your best with a hangover, whatever. Yeah, no, I love conventions. Definitely more towards the end of the weekend. I'm really enjoying
Sunday.
Yeah.
Monday.
Yeah, it's kind of like getting tattooed, right? Doing a convention, you get the tattoo, and then you're like, oh, okay, I'm ready for another one, maybe. It was a good idea.
Yeah. People that get tattooed at conventions are fucking brave, though, because they're most likely not getting the artist in their best condition, in the best setting.
No, you know, the things you see at conventions, like when you see like the fold out chairs and you see 4 of them in a line, and that's making the massage the massage table. Having someone lay out on that and they're sitting there getting a whole rib piece, it's going to be at least 5 hours of tattooing.
Yeah.
It's like, I was at a convention actually. I'm not gonna name the convention, but they were giving out free beer for the tattooers in like the VIP room. It was good. I kept it in check. But obviously, you know, throughout the day, 3 or 4 beers of like little party cups, it stacks up on the back table. And I had this guy come to get tattooed. He just wanted a little outline of a rocket ship or something like that. And I had his leg up on my armrest, and just as I was about to start, he clocked the empty beer cups behind me. Oh, is that beer? And I was like, yeah. They've been giving it free all weekend. It's fucking great. And he's like, what? And he's like, and he reminded me, so I took a swig, and I was like, yeah, I've been drinking them all day. And then he looked at me, and I was like, it's fine. Like, I see 3 of you, but I'm sure if you hold still, I'll get you. And just started tattooing him. And his friend started laughing, and then he realized I was just joking.
You felt safe in
the
your
tattoo
hands.
was fine as well, I must add.
You gotta love that tattooer's humor. You're like, oh fuck, what happened? Oh man, I just forgot my laundry in the washer. It's probably gonna be all moldy by the time I get home.
You get someone coming in with their first tattoo, and you make them like walk around on the spot to see the tattoo in its natural position. Now shake your arm a little, bit more to the left.
Poor guys.
Yep.
And it's you. You're the problem. You're giving tattooers a bad name.
Yeah.
That's good.
I try, I guess.
So you're going to be in Lithuania, and then you'll be back to Royal a bunch? Like every
most definitely.
Every month or so? Is that the plan?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool.
Definitely once the winter's out the way as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to be here in December, but in January, February, and go on from there.
Get some sick wolf hats.
Right? Come get them. Never sold out of sick wolf tats.
No. Yeah. If I was to go travel in the U.S., is there any places that you would recommend me to contact and say like, hey,
Right.
Jake said this is a cool place. I should come and contact you guys and do a guest spot. Yeah.
For me, like my favorite place to go and tattoo in the States is California. Not just for the weather, but it's a great place to go and visit.
Mm-hmm.
I love the national parks in California. Chapter 1 in San Diego. It's full of really nice people, good artists. Cash, who owns it's a really nice guy. Probably Seventh Son in San Francisco.
Yeah.
With Luke and
All
Grime
those
and all
guys.
those amazing guys.
Yeah, those guys are great.
Yeah.
A lot of them do jujitsu.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So you have something in
I would
common
love to
straight
go.
away.
I'd love to go there and get beat up and do a tattoo.
Yeah. Those guys are great. My van actually got broken into when we was in San Francisco, and they like stole all my clothes.
Oh.
Yeah, like a whole. I had all my clothes in the Trader Joe's bag. I guess they mistook it for food. I don't know. They took
Didn't
all of it.
steal any equipment or anything
Yeah,
like that?
yeah. V had put like a bag in there to save us some time for when we were checking out of our Airbnb. So we lost like a camera and passports and
Oh,
that
passports.
it changed our road trip. So we had to drive back down to LA and all this crazy stuff. That happened in the morning. I think it was like the first day I was at Seventh Son. So it was like a stressful morning, getting ready for that day of tattooing and then going to the van and seeing it's fucking broken into. But I get to the shop and all the guys are really helpful and nice. Luke in particular gave me a bunch of shop T-shirts to pass me by. So I wasn't naked.
You show up with your birthday suit for the next day.
Right.
You're like, dude, what's wrong with you? Put on some clothes.
Putting on an apron. You've seen the naked chef, right? I'm the naked tattooist.
That's super nice of them to do that. And not many people would do it.
No. Very kind-hearted, man. It was great. I think I was there for a week. And San Francisco is a trip. I really love that city. We was there, then we left our van in Oakland and flew out to Hawaii, which was cool. I've always wanted to go to Hawaii. And I worked at a shop called Tattolicious. It's a great name. I love it. Very fitting name for when you meet Sean, who owns it. A great guy. And him and his family were lovely. Put us up for a few nights as well in their house and stuff, and
super nice.
Yeah, hooked us up with a really cool place to stay on the Big Island. So got a lot of thanks. That's the beauty of traveling, especially traveling and tattooing. It's the community value.
Sure.
And tattooers looking after each other. If it's taking you to really good places to eat or letting you crash, or I had Andrew from Seventh Son looked after my van whilst we were in Hawaii to make sure it didn't get broken into again. Because found out that it's quite a reoccurring thing there. I think that's definitely like what got me into tattooing, was to travel and to get out of London, get out of my hometown, see the world and do something that I love along the way. It's great, our community, the network system, within it.
Now, did all these guys you knew from before, or you just kind of like met along the way on your travels and just kind of all came together? Yeah. Super nice.
Pretty much just along the way. Some shops I was lucky enough to get invited to. It's always a really nice thing when someone out of the blue tells you they like your work and like you to come and visit.
Oh, yeah.
I took quite a few people up on those offers if I was passing through. What I was doing whilst I was on the road was kind of getting like a vague route from like say east to west coast, and then thinking about how long I'd say want to spend in New Orleans, and then want to get out to say Texas or something. And if I didn't already know of some shops in those cities, Google it, Instagram, whatever, or ask people. And you get to one spot. First time I traveled across the States, which was in 2013, I would just get to a place and they'd be like, where are you going next? And then I'm like, I don't know. I don't really give a fuck. Head west. And then I'm like, all right, go and check this guy, go check that guy, go check this lady. And then it spirals out of control in the sense of like you get
Endless
so many places you can go. Yeah, and it's cool. So everywhere I went, and it would just be like that, and just kept. I hopped from east to west coast then, and back again. Me and my wife have done that twice now.
Wow.
Yeah, it's great.
It seems like that's the only way you can do it. If you were to plan it out, say you were to call up these shops ahead of time and be like, "Oh, I'm planning this trip," you might not get the same welcoming. But because you go to one shop, you know this guy, and he refers you over to them. That's the only way it can actually really develop. Yeah, that's pretty rad.
Yeah, and it's, obviously with social media, people can see from your social media where you've been, or so if I was emailing a shop, I'll give them my Instagram straight away so they can see where I've been at, and then who I might know. If it's not a case of, this is my buddy, he's going to come, can he come and work with you kind of deal,
Now, when you're on your travels, this is more for, I guess, my own sake, because I'm curious, like, are you able to save money on the road, or is it just kind of like paycheck to paycheck in a sense? Because I always try to think of it that way, of like, all right, I'd love to do more trips like that in the future, but am I going to be spending all my money on travel and food, or am I going to be able to?
I think it definitely takes some planning. I like traveling where I wing it a little to a degree, but I like to have some kind of form of dates, just so I know where I'm going to be when, and this kind of stuff, so I can think about some kind of like how much gas I might need, something like this. There's ways to save money if people are kind enough to put you up. You definitely don't save money.
No.
It depends on the person. We were spending a lot on like experiences to make sure that we're really seeing the place, like either eating in the best restaurant or doing some wild stuff in a national park or whatever.
So you're essentially on vacation at the same time.
Yeah.
Not like
and I was lucky enough to come back still with some cash, not broke.
That's always good.
Yeah.
So that was what I was going to ask you before. Like, did you even get a chance to like do some sightseeing, or? But you answered it there. Yeah,
national parks, man.
Yeah, I think that would be
the main thing in the States for sightseeing.
That would be the top thing on my list for sure. Just like seeing the national treasures and the wildlife.
So much to see in the US and Canada. It's like I haven't even touched it. Like I want to do another trip, maybe not next year, but the following.
Yeah,
and just do like the Pacific Northwest and get up to Alaska would be cool. Yeah, I had actually for the trip this year, I wanted to do from San Diego right up to Alaska, and I actually got round to them putting it into like Google Maps, and then I realized, my van probably would fucking die.
That's a long ass trip.
Oh, it was insane. You look at a map, you're like, you could do it, But I did the same thing first time I ever set out of Virginia from my dad's in the van, and I was like, I can make it down to Atlanta. It's like looking at a map, it's like it's nothing. Didn't even get out of Virginia that day. We left so late, ended up sleeping in like the Smoky Mountains.
Did you ever go to Waldrug?
No.
Do you know what Waldrug is?
I know Walgreens. But
there's Walgreens and there's Walmart, but
okay.
I think it's in the Dakotas. It's up there somewhere.
Okay.
But every mile there's a sign for Waldrug.
Okay, I didn't see this.
One of the cross-country trips I did with some of my friends, it was just like every sign, a new little slogan, a new sign. Waldrug, 400 miles away, every mile. But it became, it's a boring-ass ride because it's just straight all the way through. So it became entertaining after a while, like, oh, what's the new Waldrug thing? But they have things like bumper stickers that said like this car's been to Waldrug or
really
stuff like that. Yeah, maybe
it's like a huge store.
Yeah, I think
been in it?
I've never been in it.
You didn't go?
No.
Fuck, 400 miles of seeing that shit, I would have been curious.
I never went. I think I went the gas station before to take a leak, and then we were just like, screw it, we don't even care about Waldrug.
Fuck what you're selling.
But that's the true sightseeing that you need to do in the States. Screw the mountains. Screw all the national treasures. Waldrug.
Yeah.
I think Route 66
Yeah.
Did you do that at
Yeah,
all?
yeah. Well, we hit sections of it
Uh-huh.
for sure.
Is it as
Stayed in some
crazy
motels.
as it seems, or
Nah.
people make it out to be?
I guess I didn't do enough to see the
Mhm.
true craziness of it.
Yeah, I've seen pictures of like cars half buried in the sand.
Yeah, I saw those.
Yeah.
The caddies.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's fucking cool.
That's wild.
Yeah, those are cool. I forgot what state that was in. Or that was in like New Mexico.
Yeah.
I can't
I think
remember.
it goes from Chicago all the way to California.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I've been to the end of it. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Was it in Santa Monica to the start or something?
Mhm.
Anyway,
See, that's the cool stuff.
yeah, it's cool. Definitely hit the road.
Yeah.
Hit the road.
We met some artists at the London convention, and all of them are kind of doing the van life type of tattooing.
Right.
Yeah, every time I talk to somebody, it just gets me like thinking about it.
Yeah, yeah. I have 2 vans now. It's crazy. Still have the one in the States.
Yeah. Do you sleep in them as well?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
hell yeah, yeah, yeah. The one in the States is a Ford Econoline, and you literally like has like limousine lighting and shit. It's pimp as fuck. And you press a button and the bed comes out. It's like
Whoa.
yeah, it's like a sofa,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, you press the button and it's a double bed. That was a really nice way to
Yeah.
travel. The van we drove around Europe in was just had a single bed, just a little over a single bed, and was held up by like a big metal chain, which
They're,
was
like, weighted.
my side of the bed, and then it's like my wife and my 2-year-old daughter in it, and it's like 40-degree heat in the south of France, which is pretty brutal.
Uh-huh.
A couple of those nights. Once you get in the van and you see what the open road and all the different places you can go, and it's addictive.
Mm-hmm.
I'd quite like to do that in my old age, is just bum around, like tattooing and driving around, seeing everything, just keep going.
That seems-
Enough money for food and gas, and
And just go for it.
yeah. We'll see.
Yeah.
It'd also be quite nice to have, a house with a pool and a hot tub, right?
But you could just drive to a hot tub,
Yeah, true.
Just go to some random
Get a van
hotel.
with a hot tub.
Yeah. Sneak in some hotel. We used to do that as kids. Like
Uh-huh.
we would just go pool hopping different
Oh,
like,
right.
hotels. Some would have like indoor or like outdoor pools.
Uh-huh.
We'd just hop the fence and jump in.
Nice.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, most of those motels are like the fence around it's nothing. Correct?
Yeah,
You can
but
definitely hop
who's
it.
gonna even know that you aren't supposed to be there?
No.
Unless
I
it's-
did that in Hawaii actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can just walk through the hotels, and then they got like beautiful pools with like where it looks like a endless pool and it's dropped off, and I was like, fuck, I want to swim here.
Mm-hmm.
So we did.
Yeah.
No one says shit.
They don't want the trouble.
Nah, it's true.
Yeah, that's what I love about tattooing as well. Get the opportunity to travel.
Mm.
And it gets you motivated too, because if it is a convention, like when
Yeah.
we went to London, I didn't tattoo at all, but I was motivated just to go and see what was going on,
Yeah.
because I didn't want to miss out on it, even though I wasn't working it.
Yeah, it's an amazing event.
Yeah, I think you're better off that way sometimes, because you can leave if you need to. You're
Yeah.
not obligated to be there, but just being around what's going on and taking it all in.
Yeah.
It never gets old for me.
No.
It's still super interesting seeing what new is coming out and what people are pushing, or like
Yeah.
taking old stuff and doing new stuff with it.
Yeah.
It's always super cool.
Yeah, it's a great thing to see, and seeing how tattooing's constantly growing and adapting and changing. I hope I have as much enthusiasm as yourself and as Henning. Like once I have that many years in tattooing.
Yeah, but it grows. Like for me,
Yeah, your love for it and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
there was trials where I was just like, I hate this, but it wasn't tattooing. It was more like where I was at
Uh-huh.
with it, and just not being able to do what I wanted to do. Like my aspirations were higher than my ability, and so it was just like that frustration. But I don't think I'm ever there. Like whenever you get better, the bar gets higher always.
Right.
Like you're never
Yeah.
satisfied, but
Yeah.
just kind of being able to do it, you don't resent things
Mhm.
as you would in earlier times of being
Mhm.
like, oh, if I could only do this. It's like I just love the ability just to make cool drawings, and
Mhm.
way more exciting now when people actually get it,
Yeah.
and getting to meet enthusiastic clients who aren't tattooers that are just like, yeah man, do whatever, give you like a little bit of a clue,
Mhm.
and they're like, yeah, run with it.
That's the best.
Yeah, and tattooing other tattoo artists is
Yeah.
a big honor as well,
Yeah.
because they know, they know like what's fucked up in a tattoo.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh yeah,
Definitely the pressure's on
fuck
when
it.
you're
Yeah,
tattooing
yeah.
another tattoo.
Just put on your poker face and you're like, okay, I'm gonna tattoo this thing. That's cool, man. Again, I just want to thank you for coming in, and
No, thank you.
I'll miss you while you're on your journeys, but I'll see you at
Shenanigans.
least once a week, and we can bullshit and
Yep.
tell jokes in the lunchroom. No one can hear us.
I can't wait.
I just need your Instagram for
Yeah.
both the your personal account and the neo-traditional account that you have.
Yeah. So you can find me under Galleon Tattoo, and then it's neo-traditional Europe and also neo-traditional worldwide. It's another one we didn't really touch on that, but
Worldwide.
Woo! World star.
Oh yeah. And then you'll post your future dates on those for whatever town you're in.
Yeah,
or
on
country.
my personal one. If you want to see where I'm gonna be, I'm gonna float around Europe and see where I end up.
Awesome. So if you want some sick wolf tats,
Woo!
Jake Galleon, find him. Cut that one out. In a town near you.
Bring the sick wolf tats.
Sick wolf tats.
Nice.
Thank you.
My hands are sweating and
I know.
everything.